Hello and welcome to another episode of the Shooters Shoot podcast, where we have two shot makers and one guy that is a shot taker. My name is Rob Doster. I got Terrence Oglesby and Randolph Childress here with me. A lot happened in the last week since we last chatted, fellas. But I think where we have to start is a Champions Classic, and it's not Michigan State, and it's not the Spartans beating Kentucky that we need to discuss. It is Kentucky. It is Mark Pope looking like somebody just hit his dog with a car. It is a team that looks like they have plenty of chemistry issues. It is a team that looks like they spent $22 million on, a bag of old clothes at the thrift store.
Fugazis.
Fugazi. So, Randolph, I'm going to start with you because before we hit record, we were talking, and you said you have one main concern about Kentucky, and I was like, save it for the podcast. Save it until I hit record. We hit record. What do you
know what, Rob? We everybody's. It's a lot to talk about with Kentucky. Obviously, that they got to be one of the more disappointing teams, and I think the biggest thing that you can see out of them was just the lack of toughness concerns me. One. Like I just didn't see a lot of fight. They didn't seem like they get along with one another, and like there's something's going on. Whatever that is, it'll come out. My biggest concern is, Rob, I don't know how they fix it. This team they got no production out of their frontline guys, which is obviously concerning. I don't think they shoot the ball well, and then I think even once they're healthy, like everybody's going to tell me that when they're healthy, and I remember hearing people say like Jaden Quaint's is coming back and he's their best player. He is an athlete. He's a tremendous talent, and he's an athlete coming off of an ACL injury. Like he's going to need time in the middle of the season. I don't think people really understand how difficult that's going to be for him, let alone. And we're not talking about a bucket getter. We're talking about a guy that plays using his athleticism. I mean, as talented as he is, Jalen Lowe comes back. You throw him in the mix, which you already have with Away in Aberdeen. It gives me the Carolina backcourt of a year ago. Three guards that are really good, really talented, but all three are good with the balls in their hands. They don't play well with each other because their games don't mix. It's like you and I and T.O. all wanting to shoot it. Somebody's got to pass the damn ball. And I don't know if that team has the ability.
Not on this podcast, Randolph.
Right,
Not
right.
on this podcast.
And to my point, that's how Kentucky looks. It just looks like they're just taking turns right now, and we're going to talk about later the top five teams that we think are the best five teams in the country. I think Kentucky right now will look like the top five more disappointing teams that we've seen in the country so far, because I don't know how they're going to fix it unless Mark's willing to tell someone to stay away or prepared to bench someone. I don't think getting healthy bodies is going to fix the problems of what we've seen. You just don't, it looks like they've missed something in the portal.
I think it causes more problems. I think one of the issues they have right now, T.O., is that they have 10 guys that are all kind of sitting there expecting to be one of the focal points, or to be the stars, or to be the man, and they don't really know who the man is. I think Otega Owe hasn't really stepped up. I think a lot of guys are kind of saying, all right, I'm going to be in for 3 minutes and 30 seconds here. I got to go get mine while I have the chance to be able to do that. And I don't think bringing in a point guard that is like a ball dominant, score first kind of a player, and a big guy that doesn't really do much other than like kind of defend and rebound. And I don't think that
Which one?
helps.
Which one?
All of them, man. Like
I know that's where I was heading on a system predicated on spacing. If you can't shoot, there's no spacing.
Mm-hmm.
Or like that's another problem with the whole thing. They misevaluated some guys now. Like you go back and look at Mo Diabate, like he shot 12 of 26. That turns out for a pretty nice analytical look. That's 46%. But he shot 26 threes last year. Didn't even get one up a game. So like you look at him and you hoping he can be able to knock down shots. He's 1 of 11 so far this year. The spacing is an issue. I think Randolph, I don't know if you were on After Dark when you said this or you were with us. Like Louisville had a bunch of shot makers. Kentucky's got a bunch of shot takers. That couldn't be said better.
Right.
They don't have, like, Colin Chandler's kind of a shooter. But by the way, like he was being billed as the guy at Kentucky. Colin Chandler's a piece. And he's a piece like that needs to be like around the ball, needs to have ball movement. Otega Owe very much, even going back to when he was with Team Final, like he's a piece. And if the ball's not moving, you're taking away what he's good at, which is attacking a closeout and using his athleticism. So the ball's not popping because everybody's taking turns. And it's like they're not taking the first best opportunity. Everybody's just saying, well, it's my opportunity. And it looked really, really strange. And to go along with RC, do they fix it? Do they fix it? I don't know where you fix it. Like Jalen Lowe's a good player, but that's a high usage guy with low percentages last year.
I would be surprised. I honestly would be surprised if Lowe came back. I think he understands how much money he can make by playing in college.
That's too bad, man. I know where you are. I know where we're at. I know that would be wildly disappointing and too bad. Quaintance too, like good player, but he's an athlete, and like you don't really get back to feeling really comfortable until 18 months after. Right. So like, where do you go from here? Jasper Johnson, he's going to dribble, and not only is he going to dribble, like his wind-up shot, it takes a long time to get off. So what do you need? You need a closeout. Who's getting the closeout and willing to pitch out? There isn't anybody. So, I almost wonder, like, the big thing with Pope was, the zoom action. Okay, zoom action's all well and good, but like you have three guys on the floor can't shoot. So there's no space to do it. All they're going to do is sag in off of them. And those guys take a long time to get this shot off too, so you can contest late. I just a lot of money for okay, so I told myself when the season started we were going to talk about money, but like the problem is like there's a lot of guys that were overpaid. Like, is there a GM at Kentucky?
I don't believe so.
Yeah, so that's a problem. Like that, like you have that much money to divvy up. There needs to be some checks and balances somewhere. You can't just say, well, I want this guy more than the other place. I'm just going to go get him. What happens when you misevaluate? There's a lot more at stake with the misevaluation now. So I'm concerned. I'm concerned. Denzel Aberdeen was like a high role player at Florida. And by the way, from what I understand, Florida didn't even compete to bring him back after they found out what Kentucky was paying him. So that'll tell you a lot right there. The teams, it's strange. We're in an era now where it's like you have to go one of two ways. You have to either recruit or pay according to what you need for your scheme, or you try to get the best players available and then you're going to tailor around them. Well, if it's exactly opposite of what Pope's always done and he gets the best players and they just ended up being a hodgepodge of guys that are different than what he likes to do, that's hard. And I think they're in a whole heap of trouble, and the frustration is real. You can tell.
Yeah, and my question is, and I asked Norman Goodman last night the same question from the Champions Classic when we did our show up there. They kind of feel like this is the pieces don't necessarily fit issue, and I don't think that that's necessarily wrong. I'm not saying, RC, that these are like the puzzle pieces are really coming together for Kentucky, but I think that a lot can be solved by just playing hard. And I think if you watch them yesterday, like they rolled over in the end of the first half, man. Like they just kind of said, you know what? Michigan State's more physical. They're tougher. They're beating us up. Then we're just going to let them do whatever they want. They can run whatever they want. They can get whatever rebound they want. There was one play where a ball got thrown into Carson Cooper in the post. And I don't mean to call out Brandon Garrison, but it was just glaring. And Carson Cooper took a jump hook, missed it short. All Brandon Garrison did was turn around, look for the ball, didn't touch anybody. The ball comes right back to Carson Cooper. He turns around again. His arms never go up. Another jump hook. He misses it. He turns around, looks at the rim. Ball comes off. He turns around again and looks at Carson Cooper, who got the offensive rebound and then scored. Like he never touched him, never put his hands up. There was no effort. There was no desire. And to me, there were probably 20 plays like that you could pick out for Kentucky. And I think it's a chemistry thing. Like I think that you can find a way to be able to win if you're tough and physical and play hard and care, right? Like it's not like this Michigan State team is a perfectly put together unit, right? They don't even have their best transfer.
I mean, that's a great point too. They put a lot of guys. Now they hit shots yesterday, but like that's a bunch of guys that aren't necessally shot makers.
But if you play hard and you play for the name on the jersey instead of worrying about like playing for your paycheck. That's what it feels like they got a lot of guys that are playing for a paycheck instead of playing for Kentucky basketball. And that shit is not going to fly in Lexington.
Defensively, they weren't very good. I mean, of all the issues we talk about, whether we can talk about if the pieces don't fit, you can't. It isn't just that Michigan State made shots. Michigan State had open looks, time and time again from the first half to late in the game, they just had open looks. And as much as we chalk it up, I mean, Michigan State's a team that they like to drag you in the deep end, make the game ugly. They look like the Kentucky offense of a year ago, like the ball just moving, popping, everybody spacing, making shots. It's like, what the hell? Like, if did we all misevaluate Michigan State? Like, were they ranked too low? Are they going to shoot like this? It's just that team shot 50% from the floor from three, and they're going to do that because they were playing horse. Like, I was just waiting for a minute, thinking like, all right, Michigan State's tough. They're going to defend. I'm sitting there going, all right, at some point, Kentucky's going to ramp it up. Michigan State's offense is going to, stall out a little bit like it typically does, and then they'll get back in the game. Not thinking not sure if they'd win it, but I thought they'd get back in the game. And when they laid down, Rob, I'm thinking, and T.O., I'm like, wow, like this is like there is something wrong. Whether it's in the locker room, I'm not going to sit here and act like I know.
Didn't Pope say like something happened in the locker room against Louisville or something?
The quote was, "One day I will tell the story about what happened in our pregame. I'm not ready to do that yet." We asked him about it last night in the press conference, and I believe his answer was, "That's a long story. I'll tell one day."
It's glaring. It has to be something because these guys are not what they did not do last night is play for one another. They didn't. Yes. The difference is that against Louisville, because of the pace that Louisville plays, they got more offensive touches and they made a few more shots. This isn't a well-constructed roster from if we're going to judge them off of last year's team off capable shooters. They just don't. This just isn't it. They're not going to be that. They'll have one out of every 5 or 6 games. They'll knock down a ton of threes. They're not playing well with each other. And the way they have to play is almost like the way Michigan State has to play. Spacing, taking open looks. They got to draw fouls, except they don't have a guy like Michigan State they can throw the ball to in a post and play through it. Like there seems to be, they're going to have to completely, to me, change how they've played or how they're playing and make an adjustment quick. And we're going to find out a lot out if Mark Pope wants to do that. If he's going to stick to a system, a spread like that, what he did in BYU and last year, because this roster, it's going to be in trouble because teams are going to start scheming these guys. I mean, Theo, correct me if I'm wrong. If I'm guarding these guys, if I have a lesser talented team, I'm going to say, all right, guys, the first 2 are on me. Like, what guy am I going to look at outside of Chandler and say, we got to close out hot, we got to beat him on the catch. Outside of him, the other guys, I'm going to be like, all right, he knocks down the first 2 guys, they're on me, then just rebound and go.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think you close out tight to him, and then every little action they run on the perimeter, you just sag in, switch and stay. I'll tell you that they got real issues. We'll see. I'm not going to go in on each individual player. There were some missed evaluations with some of these guys. There were some missed evaluations.
Yeah. Let me ask you this: Is this fixable, T.O.? Like, is this something that he can turn around? Right?
Like at this point, like. The SEC's big, but this roster's still pretty big. The smallest player playing will take Oweh, and he's built like a truck.
Right.
Like, and I'm talking height-wise. Like, if you're going to play and you're going to start, you're going to have to do it differently, and you're almost going to have to take Michigan State's mantra of like, hey, dude, we're going to defend and hope we can score. Like, that's kind of where I would go with this roster. You better defend and hope that you score.
The problem with that is that this team, like, it just doesn't feel like a team that wants to guard like that. Like
that's not an option. That's not an option. Like that. Like it doesn't want to guard. I don't want to be bold. Like
at all.
Right, Randolph. I don't want to be bold. Like and shit. Here I am. You know what I mean? Like
at all costs.
This is where we're at.
At all costs, guys. It's one of those.
You guard, you don't play. I don't care how much you're getting paid.
Yeah.
You guard, you don't play.
The only way I think he fixed his guys is he willing to say, I don't care what the salary is. Give me 7 or 8 guys that want to play this way. And then whoever doesn't, I don't care how much it is, you can get in the portal. Like it's going to have to take something drastic to happen like that because it just doesn't, the way they're playing and the way they've played in the past doesn't work. Whatever that issue is, locker room wise, and it comes out, whatever it is, it's whether he wants to acknowledge it or not, the players, we've seen the players and just how they're responding. They're not responding to it. And whether you want to make something, we talked about that Oweh interview last night in his body language. I'm not going to speak for him or say or read into that as much as just their play. the fight and what it took for that game and their play on that stage to come out with that effort, man. It's like, wow.
It's on Pope too. Like,
Yes.
they're in the last 12 minutes and they keep panning over to Pope and he's just like he's over there seething. But it didn't even look like he was angry. It looked like he was like sulking.
I've never, T.O.
It was so strange. Like I was sitting there watching, like there was no oomph from him either.
Rob said that before we got on air.
I've never seen in post game.
He was moping.
I've done this for 16 years, T.O. I have never seen a coach that was that down. Like he looked, I said it looked like someone hit his dog. Like he looked so upset. That hurt him deep. And I don't know if that was just something like an act that he was putting on for the players. I don't think it was, because I think he cares about Kentucky more than anything else. I actually believe the way that he feels about that university, right? And it looked like he was like, I put together a roster of players that don't care about this university at all.
Hey, here's the thing too. Like it could hurt you if you care about the university too much now. I think we've seen that.
Mm-hmm.
Like guys that go back, coach their alma maters, like they could get a little, like you start worrying about that stuff, and it's hard. Like it's really hard. But dude, you better freaking defend. I thought they were soft as butter last night.
Yeah, there's a lack of leadership in that roster too, in that locker room. Like someone has to step up and be like, this isn't acceptable anymore, and nobody did that. In fact, they were arguing in the timeout. Like Pope had to come in one time. I think Chris Budden reported this on the broadcast last night. So Pope had to go into the huddle during a timeout and say, guys, stop arguing. Like we got to find a way to be able to work together here. We're a team, more or less, which is not a place that you need to be.
Tough look.
As you know by now, we have teamed up with BetMGM again this season. We'll be using BetMGM lines to make all of our picks, and we will have special offers for Field of 68 fans, including same-game parlays, best-in-class live betting, and daily odds boost. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use bonus code FIELD to get up to a $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager with BetMGM. Here's how it works. You download the BetMGM app, you sign up using bonus code FIELD, you deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game, and you receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if your bet loses. Just make sure you use that bonus code FIELD when you sign up. Make this college basketball season one for the history books. Make it legendary. And don't forget, if you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use bonus code FIELD and get your $1,500 first bet offer today. With media days and on-site events the last 2 months, travel for me has been crazy. Luckily, I had Huel. This month, Huel launched in Target stores nationwide. Both of their ready-to-drink products are now available. The Black Edition has 35 grams of protein, 27 essential vitamins and minerals, no artificial sweeteners, and is gluten-free for under $5 a meal. The Daily Greens Edition, which I have here, peach hibiscus flavored, was developed by registered nutritionists and dietitians with 42 vitamins and minerals and superfoods, with just 25 calories, 4 grams of fiber, and only 1 gram of sugar. When you're busy with work, travel, children, and just life in general, Huel makes sneaking in meals quick, easy, and most importantly, healthy. Pick them up in Target stores nationwide, or if you're a first-time customer, get 15% off your purchase with the promo code F68 at Huel. That's HUEL.com/F68. Part of that is because of what Michigan State did, guys. And we got to be able to give some credit to Michigan State, because I think, Tio, you nailed them last year, right? You said that this is a team that is going to win the Big Ten, and they went out and they won the Big Ten despite the fact that everybody thought that they were going to, be middle of the pack. I don't know if you had them winning the Big Ten this year.
No.
But this looks like a team that will, at the very least, kind of like be in the mix, because they have one of the best kind of ball control point guards that you're going to find. They got big guys that understand what they're being asked to do by Izzo, and Cohen Carr is Cohen Carr. And apparently now Kerr Tang has turned into Steph Curry, and Trey Ford is making threes. And if those guys are making shots and their big guys are able to space the floor, like suddenly
hit a couple.
Yeah, I had no idea who he was. He came in, I was like, who is that? And then he knocked down a three. I was like, Norm, do you know this guy? He's like, yeah, that dude's pretty good, man. You should know who that guy is. Like, thanks, Norm.
Yeah,
that man make me look like an idiot. But
yeah.
I was I was really, really impressed with Michigan State.
Denham Wojcik out there cooking, got 2 assists in a minute and a half. Boy, they had their way, didn't they?
Yeah.
Boy, they had their way. No, they're good, man. A shot making Michigan State's a dangerous Michigan State because they are going to do all that other stuff. They are good. Like there's no, you want to talk about no stone unturned. Izzo will pop a blood vessel in his head before he gives up what Kentucky was doing yesterday. You know what? Like Jeremy Fears, we saw him play, and like he played on that same AAU team a few years ago with Brandon Miller and Nick Smith, and he was kind of the point guard that made everything happen, and he was like okay with it. He still found a way to impact the game. And then he goes to Michigan State, and I think he gets shot in the leg.
He got shot at a party, I think, in December
Like,
of freshman year.
I'm only laughing because he's okay now. But like you want to talk about a tumultuous little bit. Now, like he's Mateen Cleaves 2.0, man.
100%.
He freaking controls the entire game, and he shot 3 shots. And he ends up with what, 8 points, 13 assists, 6 boards, 2 turnovers, 3 steals. What?
T.O., he had 13
Kentucky
assists.
Kentucky needs a Fears.
Kentucky entire team had 13 assists. He had 13 by himself.
I mean, that says everything you need to know, man. Like, selfless dude. Loved his game for a long time. He controlled everything. And then, like, the thing is shot making is contagious. You have one guy hit one and another one gets one. It's like, uh-oh, is it one of those days? Because we've been at some Michigan State games, even they're up at the Garden, where it's like, man, they're building condos. Not last night, but like you hit a couple and then confidence starts to go. And then the ball pops and you're able to find decent looks. Man, they were fun to watch. They were really tough. And Cohen Carr can put his armpits on the rim. That's fun to watch too.
The lob that he caught was like right in front of where we were sitting last night. And I swear to God, like you're not even joking. His shoulders were at the rim when he caught that. Like it is, I've never seen anything like someone.
You know where he went to high school?
Where?
Greenville, South Carolina.
Oh, there you go. Why is he at Michigan State and not at Clemson or South Carolina right now?
That answer I can't find for you.
No. So like we've seen how good Purdue is this season, right? And I fully believe that Illinois is right there in the same conversation as Purdue, and Michigan's still ranked in the top 10, and Wisconsin.
Michigan, second tier Michigan. Second tier Michigan in the Big Ten.
No, I'm with you. So my question was going to be, where does Michigan State stand now? Do you have them above Michigan? Are they in are they in that kind of Purdue stratosphere?
Yeah, Purdue, Illinois, Michigan State stratosphere. Top 3 in the league. Yes.
No, I agree with you. I think it can flip flop. I think I don't think they can win it. I think it's still Purdue's. We'll see the matchup, and can they overtake what we think Illinois can be? Can they swap with them? And then I do have them ahead of Michigan right now. I like their makeup of their team more than Michigan's.
Yeah, the pieces just fit together. Fear, I think I didn't realize how good Fears was, and maybe that's just because I didn't really see him a ton on the circuit, and we didn't really see him as a freshman. And then when you come back from getting shot, it's probably going to take you a little bit of time to get back into the rhythm and the flow. But that dude is built like an absolute truck. Like Kentucky kept trying to put him in situations where their bigger guards would back him down, and you're not moving Jeremy Fears at all. Like he just kind of stood there. They're bouncing off him. He's like a brick wall at 6'1". I think that he's what you. Their point guard is what you want out of a Michigan State point guard. RC. Their big guys are what you want out of Michigan State big guys. They got a dude in Cohen Carr that can do all of the athletic and hustle stuff that you want. They got 2 shooters. Like it just feels like they have all the pieces that you want. And oh, by the way, they got a couple of freshmen that come in and play like Tom Izzo freshmen and Jordan Scott and Cam Ward. I think this team's really, really good. I think we missed on them again.
Who missed?
Me.
Oh, yeah, I don't think it's me. None of us ever counted.
I missed on Michigan State. I'm sorry, Tom.
You can never count a Tom. It's just a Tom Izzo team. It's just what it is. If he gets shooting, they're going to be a tough out. And last night they scored 83 points. If Michigan State scores 80 in the 80s, you're not beating them because they're not allowing you to score in the 80s. And so it was, again, it's more.
Does this justify, like we hear Tom Izzo talk all the time about how he's anti-portal and he's going to do his things his way and he's not going to Like he's not going to go against what he believes is the way that you should build a college basketball roster. I think that they probably had Kentucky probably had 4x the budget that Michigan State had this offseason, and he went in there and he kind of kicked their ass the way that he kicked their ass. I think that this justifies everything that Tom Izzo has said, and I think he can take a couple of victory laps around all the people, including myself and the
Who
the person
cares?
that runs
Tom's going to complain about something, man. Like he just going to complain. Like that's what.
this.
Like I don't care what Tom's like. Like I respect Tom Izzo. He is all-time great Hall of Fame dude. He's going to complain. Yeah, like some of these guys, that's how they wired, man. They're gonna complain. They're gonna find what's wrong, but that's also what makes them good coaches. So you can't have one without the other. You can either complain about it or you can embrace it. I heard that quote yesterday.
Yeah.
That was a quote.
Yeah, from your boy Pat Kelsey.
Dude, that was a quote. I saw that and I started laughing. Did you guys see this?
Yes, I did. You want to read it out? Do you have it in front of
I'm
you?
going to read it out because this was just incredible. So I'm pulling it up. I'm just going to read the whole thing. I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'm going to skip ahead. Talking about London Johnson, who's been in the G League. He's a trailblazer in a lot of ways and handled the unwarranted scrutiny like a mature, classy young man that he is. In my opinion, he deserves an opportunity to play collegiate basketball like every other player within his 5-year window from high school. Put an asterisk on that 5-year window portion. Times have changed, and we choose to embrace rather than just complain about it, especially when it creates opportunities for student athletes like London.
Woo! So I don't entirely disagree with what he's saying, but what frustrates me about that is the opportunity. Like he's gone out and he's probably how much you making in the G League now? You make like
40 or 50. 40 or 50. It's
I don't
nothing.
think it's that much. It's not that much.
Guys, it's nothing. Like you can't bring all these European kids over here and not have that kid play.
No, I get that, but what sucks for me is that you are taking away opportunities from kids that are trying to change their station in life by getting a college scholarship that is going to be able to set them up for getting an education.
Hey, hold on. Rob, that kid's screwed too. He made a bad decision and went to the G League thinking he was going to be in the NBA. He's screwed too. He's only made 40, 50 grand last year.
No,
last 2 years. That's necessary living expenses. Why does that kid not deserve an opportunity?
I'm not saying he doesn't.
But who's he taking away from?
He also made
how about two guys?
It's not, and it's not just that like that level of player because this stuff trickles down, right? Like there's kids right now that are Division I caliber players that should be getting scholarships that aren't getting recruited because all of these coaches at every level, including the low and mid major level, are trying to get older guys and players that transfer up, and the cast offs from the high major ranks that are getting recruited over by the likes of London.
There's only so many humans playing basketball. Like there's. I'm not against it at all. You can't have it one way for European kids. Speaking as a European guy.
I also don't think that you should. I have my own issues with the way that the European professionals coming over is kind of.
To me, it's the exact same thing. What do you think, Randolph?
It's consistent with the times that we're in because at one point in time, it wasn't that way, right? At one point in time, European guys, if you took a cell phone, you couldn't come over and play. If you took it once you signed with the big club, you were ineligible to come over and play.
Do you remember the free Enos campaign for Enos Cancer
at
Kentucky?
Yeah, it's like guys were doing that, and so once you did that, you opened up Pandora's box. So I understand both arguments, and I'm the same. I mean, it worked before. You knew before once you made that decision, you couldn't come back. And now it screws kids. It puts coaches in tough predicaments because coaches now they're always going to go after those fringe guys. They're good players. That's why they're able to go. I'm kind of indifferent on it, to be honest with you. If we were sitting here with a vote, man, we'd be all tied up because I'm indifferent. It's got to be one way or the other. And if you're going to like Tio says, if you're going to let the European guys do it, then let the Americans do it. You just have to let everyone know what's going on. So now coaches can know that these guys can be recruited and get them back on college campus. So, and who those guys are, if they fit that window. But if they were to go back to the old rules and say, hey, European guys can't come over, and if you make that decision to forego your college eligibility, you can't come back. I got no problem with that either. But right now, in these times, it's consistent with what we've seen. So I have no problem with it. I think now you just have to figure out, you got to identify who else in that G League fits that mold.
Yeah. I
want to make one. I want to make 2 points real quick, Rob. One is I called this shit whenever Zugic got eligible at Creighton. I said whenever they signed him, I went back and looked at his career and what he had done in Europe. He'd played in Eurocup for like 4 years. As soon as he got eligible, I was like, oh no, there's about to be a massive influx because these guys in Europe aren't getting paid that much. Also, the G League guys are getting paid nothing. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. I knew all this was going to happen. Secondly, national championships in college basketball aren't won with G League players. He is very good. They're not won with G League players. Duke doesn't have like that. They might have a couple of guys being in a G League.
Look, you're not
long. Yeah,
you're not wrong.
Hey, NCAA tournament isn't won with G League players.
Look at Florida last year, right? Walter Clayton was a first-round pick. Will Richard is currently playing in the Golden State Warriors rotation. Tommy Hawk is going to end up being a first-round pick, and Alex Condon's going to be a first-round pick. That was their best spot.
Duke's entire starting lineup was drafted in the NBA draft.
Yep.
Championships and Final Fours aren't made with G League players. So he might develop into a really good player that gets somewhere later, but he's a G League player. He's not an NBA player. He's a G League player.
Yeah,
but Tito, I can make an argument against that and say right now half the NBA play in the G League. So it's a stepping stone.
Yeah, but he never got called up or anything. That's kind of my point.
No. I mean, yeah, he didn't get
drafted. He didn't get called up. He didn't make a roster.
Like a lot of guys will do it, but it's just an investment. So I'm not. I just would say, just as far as that, I don't know if it's, it's just a mess, man. That part of it is just really, really just a mess, and it's now everybody knows, and everybody's now just your job to find out. You better know. You don't get mad at those guys. And I know we talked about Izzo made that first interview about it, and people were shocked. Now you just better do your homework and figure the shit out.
Yep. We're not going to be able to put the toothpaste back in the tube on that one, but I would like to see a world where we're not having guys that have been pros for 3 or 4 years in Europe or in the United States.
We're not done. I'm just telling you, it's not done.
Using the college basketball as a U23 professional league. I would like to see it be something where these guys you're still having college kids being able to maximize opportunities and better their station in life, and not.
It's just such a small percentage.
Yeah, not professionals trying to make a little bit more money because that's where they know the money is coming from. I want to talk about Duke as well because Duke looked just okay last night against Kansas, but it also never felt like that was something where Kansas was going to end up winning that game. Obviously, they didn't have Darren Peterson, but T.O., you've called a Duke game this season, right? I think I saw you shooting free throws in camera and talking about 5 things that Duke was going to end up doing.
Yeah.
Where do you stand on this Duke team right now? Like, you called it last year where I think you watched 2 games and you were like, yeah, this Duke team's going to be the best team in the country in February. And you got that one right. And I fucking hate giving you credit for anything, but you nailed that one.
I've been on fire the last couple of years. Boy.
Yeah, you have. Fire. So where do you stand on this Duke team?
A lot of the things they did last night as I'm watching, I really liked. Now, it didn't pop. And what I mean by that is they're playing within their motion. They're 5 out. They're doing like an initial action, and then they're using both sides of the floor after that first action does. So John's trying to set them up to start this chain of events, and they're getting to that, but it's not smooth yet, if that makes sense. So like they'll run their little block and what kind of, it's almost like I don't know the NBA terminology for it, but everybody does it. They start on the block and they come off a screen, and then they go the opposite side of the screen just to get open to get a catch on like the extended 45. You know what I'm talking about? Like they'll do these things. I need to get the terminology because I sound like an idiot right now. But they'll do these things to get them open, and then they'll run a small, simple action. And then if they don't have something off that simple action, they're in their 5 out. And Boozer's getting it at the top. Sometimes the guy on the wing will go down the corner screen. That guy might curl. Other times that guy might come straight to the ball. Like, you can see the makings of what their offense is going to be. It's going to be different this year than it was last year. But they have such intelligent guys for them to be on game 5 and like be in the process of learning it and still not being at their best and like still finding a way to win by 12 against Kansas, finding a way to win by 15 against Texas. Like they're still not close to what they're going to be execution wise. Now, is this team as quote unquote like super duper talented as last year's team? They're still very good. If last year's team was a 10, I would give this team probably an 8.5, 9. Like it's not quite as talented, but they're going to have to do it in different ways. But you can see like when when you're helping your kid with your homework and you can see the light flicker a little bit, but it's not quite there. But they're like, oh, that's where Duke's at right now.
No, I don't know anything about that, T.O.
That's
that
where
doesn't
Duke's
sound like
at right
anything
now.
that's happening in the Dawson.
It's been a while for me.
Yeah. But like it's like something's it's starting to click and they're not quite there, but it's almost there. And being 6 games in or 5 games into the season is like exactly where you want to be. They're gonna attack you different. I will say, I do have some concern, not a ton of concern, but some concern with Cam Boozer's ability to finish around the rim because he got beat up quite a bit last night around the cup, and he hasn't played great against high major comp compared to what he's done against Western Carolina, Army, and Indiana State. So these long athletes bother him a little bit, but he's so relentless in how he does it. I'm curious to see how it goes, but I really think they're close. Like they're probably another 5 games away from being like, oh, buddy. I think they'll be ready to go by the time they play Florida. They got Niagara, Howard, Arkansas. Then they got Florida December 2nd.
Randolph?
I think they'll be fine. Offensively, I don't worry. I love what Boozer does. Anytime they're doubling him in the post, right? So he's going to struggle against double teams.
Some of those passes.
Biggest man, he turned around when he caught it, T.O., and I was laughing because I always say this when people get doubled, bigs tend to turn their back to protect themselves. He got doubled, turned face, sprayed, and I'm like, uh-oh. Like, that's going to be a bad look trying to trap him. I think this team can be better offensively than they were a year ago. I just don't think they can be as good as they were defensively a year ago. Last year, they were really good on all 3 phases, and that they don't have a Malawatch. They don't have a rim protector. Patrick Gomba's done a great job with his body, and he is tall and big, but he's not the rim protector that they've had with Lively or Malawatch. And I think I think that's the only thing that's missing with them. They have the length, they have depth. I think offensively they'll be fine. I think they'll be even better. Take away the hype of Cooper and what he did. I think Boozer's it's better score on the inside. I think against high major competition, when you're not doubling him, I think he'll punish you. I think they have all it takes to be. The only thing is they'll have to do it differently. They won't look as dominant as they were a year ago because they were elite defensively a year ago. The only issue that Duke had last year, and we said it early too, was they didn't have their point guard play that I thought they had a year ago. I think they've settled that. You can see, Cam coming in, playing late, being on the floor when it matters.
Caden.
It'll be good. I mean, Caden. I'm sorry, Caden coming in and being on the floor when it matters at the end of games, man. I think they'll be right there. They just don't have. They're not as good defensively. They're good. They will be really good. Last year they were elite. I mean, they were one of the top 2 or 3 defensive teams in all of college basketball a year ago, and they just don't have the rim protection.
Yeah, they don't. But conversely, just to argue for the hell of arguing because it's a podcast, but it's like Cam Boozer's rarely out of position. Like there were times last year where Duke would get out and they would gamble because they were so freaking athletic that they would come back and be able to block shots. Like last night, I think the most telling thing to your point was 1 block shot, and it was Isaiah Evans.
Right.
Like this is a position-based Duke defensive team.
And T.O., with this, when you got a footer there, teams were shooting floaters coming up short. He altered way more shots than even they blocked a year ago. And we're not talking about Cooper Flagg, who was defensively was as good as anybody, his versatility. So I think that's the biggest difference is they have to be more positional defenders. And perimeter-wise, I think they got all the length and everything else.
Ooh.
Offensively, they're fine. They're fine offensively. I don't worry about them. They have as complete of offense of how they can beat you. And that's what's scary about this team is why I think they'll be there when it matters. Because, again, they don't have to rely on three-point shooting. They can throw the ball inside with Boozer. And he's I think his interior game is still more dominant than his perimeter game.
Hey, Rob, you were there last night. Let me ask you this. Like, I was watching the game and I was like, God, Dame Sarr is everywhere. And then you look at his box score, it's 6 points. Like, it's 6 points, not very efficient. 6 points, 4 boards, 2 assists. But
Right.
it just felt like that dude was all over like he had an impact, especially beginning of the second half. Like the impact was just nuts.
Yeah, the athleticism is there. And it just looks like he's still kind of figuring out exactly how to play at this level in this country.
As the whole team is, especially on the offensive end.
Yeah, like he's still figuring it out, but you can see that there is a certain level of God-given ability that he has, right? And I'm thinking about what happens when you put him on the floor like at the same time as Isaiah Evans and Malik Brown and Cam Boozer and someone like a Caden Boozer, and all of a sudden you again have a team where everybody is like 6'4" to 6'9" and switchable everywhere, and big and strong and physical. And
that's how they've been every time I've seen them play.
Yeah, like
even with Caden on the floor. Caden's not small either. He's 6'4", 205. He may be taller, he may be shorter, but his hair gives him an extra 4 inches. So I don't know exactly where he's at.
And he's big too.
But he's big dude. Big. Yeah.
So yeah. I'm with you, man. I'm if you're not a member of the Field of 68's On3 community, make sure to go check us out. Get access to all of Jeff Goodman and Rob Doster's written content, including coaching carousel breakdowns, info on who is and isn't entering the transfer portal, insider recruiting information from none other than Joe Tipton, X's and O's analysis of all the teams in college basketball, and access to our message board community. A 7-day trial costs you $1. The Field of 68 on 3. Get the scoop. There is no sport in America that is more difficult to follow than college basketball. It can be overwhelming. That's where the Field of 68 Daily comes into play. The Daily is your go-to source for injury updates, recruiting news, and transfer portal additions that actually matter. For just $50 a year, get access to the same information that your favorite team's coaching staff is subscribed for. Quality content can be hard to find in the college basketball space. The Daily is here to help you with that. Well, let's get into it now. But knowing what we know, and where we are in the season at this point, I think coming into the year, it was more or less a consensus that it was Purdue, Houston, and Florida were the 3 best teams in college basketball. If we were to reset everything right now and you had to start from scratch and list your top 5, Tio, your top 5 national championship contenders, is there a top tier? Is it the same group? Is anything massively changed out of that group?
Take Florida out. Who'd you say the other ones were?
It was Houston and Purdue. I think everybody had as the top.
Yeah,
two.
Houston and Purdue. Throw Duke in there by the end of the year. Houston, Purdue, Duke. I think Louisville could get hot at the right time. I can't even remember who I picked for the Final Four. Not that it matters now. You know, a team that Arizona. They have a solid test coming up. Like Arizona's right there too. This is a really good season.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a lot of really good teams. They got UConn coming up today? Shit.
Yeah, tonight.
Like that's going to be a great game. UConn. There's a lot of teams that would kind of float in there in that. I mean, the analytics love Gonzaga, but that's because they're beating teams by 85 points.
You know who else loves Gonzaga?
Sean Farnham.
Me.
Oh, also you.
I think that they're like you're gonna, Tio, when you sit down and you like get a chance to like watch them a couple of times here, right, against some of the better teams that they're playing, probably in the what's the players era. Like they got 2 big guys inside that can dribble into the post and play together. They got length and athleticism everywhere. Jalen Warley, Tyon Grant Foster are really good, and they got a point guard, Mario Saint Superi, who's I think he's got a chance. I think that's the difference maker for him. I'm in on Gonzaga. Yes, it helps that they beat teams by 100 and their metrics are going to end up looking great, and they're probably going to be a little bit overinflated on KenPom. I think I would have them in my 5 title contenders.
We're going to find out about Gonzaga on Monday against Alabama.
Yep.
If we put them in that group, right? I think we all agree. I think Purdue. I think we all agree Duke. I think UConn would be a team I'd say I can see being there. Houston, you can't count them out as their freshman guys get more comfortable and they figure some things out. I think some of that is letting Flemings go a little bit more and picking and choosing when to use him and Uzan. Louisville is a team I think, and I think the only two teams that I want to put in there again is Arizona. I want to see them
Yep.
against UConn and how they look. It's not about winning, but how they look. And then I just want to see Gonzaga against Alabama.
What about
Just
Illinois? Because I'm ready.
Full transparency, I haven't watched them play yet. Full transparency, so I'm probably a bad person there. I haven't been able to catch them yet.
Yeah, you'll see them tonight against Alabama. I think that they're really, really good too.
Yeah,
I'm
gonna watch that
now.
tonight.
I high on them now, but before I put them in that category, we all were high on them a year ago, and then it just never lived up to it. And I want to see early in the year, are they the team that we think they are? It looks the part, and we like what we've seen from them. But I want to see. I want to before I put them in that category of people I think can make it to the Final Four. Yeah, I'm just not quite there. I need to see a little bit more from them.
Yep. Yeah, I'm in. And
Who's UConn? You got UConn with Terrace Reed against Pete. Two big dudes, or do we? Or
it's going to be the interesting part of that matchup.
They play a big 4-5, man. They play a big 4-5.
The interesting part of that matchup is, I think, going to be Pete is going to have to chase Alex Caravan around screens and around that all the misdirection stuff that UConn does offensively. I don't know how UConn stops Pete, to be honest, unless you throw two guys at him. I also don't know how Arizona deals with all of that stuff that UConn does offensively with a four-man who is a true four-man chasing around guys like Caravan, who's as good as anybody at running off a screen. So we'll see how that plays. I think we're going to see a lot of points tonight. I don't think
Mr. Bean needs to get busy.
Yes, he does. Yes,
we're going to see, and we're going to see about UConn defensively. Not that they're going, keep Arizona from scoring, but we're going to see if they're defending at what we would consider a UConn championship level. They're going to get tested in that tonight.
Oh, yes, they are. All right. Well, let's end this with this. Give me a shooter of the week, Randolph. Who is your shooter of the week?
Oh, God. My shooter of the week. You caught me off guard with that. Come back to me on that. I got to think about who would be my shooter of the week. Who you got, T.O.?
Who do you want to pick? So Kentucky, Louisville. They didn't really shoot it. Like Louisville didn't shoot it great. They just beat the brakes off of them. I don't know, man. What do you got, Rob?
That's what I forgot
that we did this segment. This is new.
Caught me off guard with that.
Yeah, I forgot we did this segment.
I was going to go with Braden Smith, who hit 5 threes.
That's kind of like
it took over
kind of an easy one.
That is an easy one. Should we just scrap this segment for the week?
No, but we'll find one. Give me half a second.
All right.
And we're going with shooter of the week or our player of the week. Like how
whatever you want to do. It's your world.
Player of the week.
It's your world. It's your world. Whatever you want to do, T.O. Whatever you want to do, Randolph. Here, I got one for you. How about this? Let's start with this. Kingston Flemings.
Oh, that's a good
13, 8 for 13 from the floor, scored 22 points. That's one of those ones where it's like what's the Charles Barkley meme? I apologize, sir. I wasn't familiar with your game.
That's Shaq.
Yeah, Shaq. Yeah, Shaq. I apologize. I wasn't familiar with your game. That's me to Kingston Flemings. And frankly, Chris Senack, too, who knocked down a couple of threes the other day.
Okay. What you got, Randolph? We got to figure this one out.
Yeah, man. I'm going to go with Rob McCray.
That's a good one.
For a team that for what he's the guy and has to be the guy for him, and I think he's been the guy for them. Just he's playing really well, man. I'm just happy for his journey. I know he's a South Carolina guy, but kid came to wait, didn't work out, went back, reinvented himself. Now he's back playing at the ACC level and playing well. So that's gonna be my guy today.
Darian Williams over the last 2 games averaging 31 a game, and he's hitting threes too. I mean, 2 of 4 against VCU. You saw him in person. I had him the game before against Greensboro. He went 6 for 8 from 3. There's your shooter.
Yeah, that's a great pick.
Yeah, he's good.
He's
expensive.
He's
actually paying off. The salary that he's getting. Listen, guys, this has been fun. The Shoot or Shoot podcast for Randolph Childress, for Terrence Oglesby. I'm Rob Doster. We'll see you guys again next week. Hopefully, we'll have something a little bit more cheerful to talk about instead of just hating on Kentucky for 45 minutes. So, see you guys next week.